everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Donna K. Delahaye from the blog yusufdelahaye.com, the place to go to level up your creativity and take your hobby photography full time. Make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell. So in today's video, I'll be doing a quick unboxing of the Sony ZV-1 and give you my first impression of the camera. So let's get into it. So I'll just give you a quick overview of what you'll get in the box. First of all, you'll see the user manual for the camera. Secondly, you'll find the batteries, which are the Sony branded batteries. I found that with these batteries, you will get 1 hour if you're shooting at 4K, and then just above 2 hours if you're shooting at 1080p. You will require some additional batteries. I found that I did need at least 1 or 2 batteries to shoot in the day. And here you have the USB card that you can charge the battery in the camera body, because this camera also, you'll find that it does not come with a charger, a battery charger. So that's something to note. And here is the dead cat, or the famous dead cat, that you will need to put on your hot shoot just to cover the built-in mic that this camera comes with. And you'll find that it's not very big, it's quite a small little dead cat. And there's nothing else in the box. I'm just making sure. And then this is the moment that we're all waiting for, the beautiful camera. So one thing you'll notice about this camera is that it's very small. You can tell that the body is plastic on this camera. Obviously this is the Zeiss lens that the camera comes with. You can also see that the inbuilt mic does take up a large part of the top of the camera. And then you'll see the LCD screen, and this is me just filming on my Fuji. And then just trying to kind of get the nozzle in focus. So there you'll see the famous C2 button, or that button is for product showcasing, and then where you can include your tripod. And then this is the port for the battery and your SD card. And then over here you have your mic port, you have your HDMI port, and you have your USB port. They are quite tactile to open, so it does take a little fiddling around to open them. And there you will normally have a wrist strap, your kind of port to do your wrist strap. One thing you'll find that this camera does not come with a wrist strap, so I would recommend you purchasing one. Okay, so my initial thought of the camera, I've put my dead cat on the camera here. Let's see, focus here. And one thing that I noticed is that this is my iPhone 11 and this is the camera. So basically the camera is as big or smaller than my iPhone 11. If you notice, like, this is my iPhone 11 and this is the camera. The iPhone 11 is longer and bigger than the actual camera. So if you can see the body, actual body. So that's something that I really noticed with the camera, that it's quite small. The body is quite plasticky. It's not as rugged as my X-T4, but it is very video centric, and this is why I got it. So some of the things that you should note, obviously I've already put the dead cat on the top for audio, and then you notice some of the buttons. One of the button is the red video button here, and it is one of the largest buttons, and I think that's great. You know where the kind of record button is. And then one thing that I really love is that once, I'll just open the camera, once the camera is on and you press recording, you'll notice that this red button at the front starts flashing to indicate that you are recording. So that's something I love, because if anyone who's had a camera tried, if you've ever been in the situation where you try to record and think that you press your record button and it's recording, and then you kind of look and then the camera is not recording. And then just here you can see the product defocusing button. Again, when you select that, it actually shows it on the monitor, the LCD screen monitor, and that's something I really like. Obviously you have all your ports to the side here, and I find that this is quite tactile. This is the grip on the camera. I have very long hands, So my grip is like this when I hold the camera. So I would suggest, the camera doesn't come with a wrist strap, but I would suggest getting a wrist strap just to make sure that you can put the wrist strap on your hand and you feel a bit more secure, because I do feel like this grip like this is not the sturdiest, and you don't want to drop your new camera. So that's something to note. And the most important thing, like for anyone who's vlogging, is the flip out screen. Let's be real. So you want to be able to see yourself. As you can see, I'm filming with my ring light and my X-T4 there. You want to be able to see yourself, that you're lined up and you're in focus. And this is one thing that really made me want to get this camera, is the flip out screen, and that is so compact and so portable. Again, one thing that you'll notice about this camera, when you turn the flip out screen out, the camera actually turns on itself, so the lens will come out. And like if you, so it's a bit more or less on, you can turn and then turn the screen towards you and then you record. And you'll notice that if you flip the screen back like that, the lens actually doesn't come out, doesn't retract back in, it actually stays out, so you can still vlog like this. It only actually turns off once you've turned the lens back into the body. It takes a few seconds, but then you'll see the lens retract back into the body of the camera. So that's something that's really nifty, that once you won't miss a shot. Within 2 seconds it just flicks out the screen and you're ready to go. So that's something that if you're a run and gun shooter like myself, you get your quick clips that you want and you're good to go. I have everything set on the auto program that this camera has, and the default color profile, which I think more or less it works for me. I don't want to do a lot of editing, especially with color grading and stuff like that, so that is not a big thing for me. So I just have it on the default setting, which I think it produces color to my liking. And then obviously you have here, you have your port to put in your selfie stick, and you also have your port for your, I'll just show you the battery. So I have the battery and a memory card inside. Okay, so some of the things that you will notice about this camera is that the inbuilt mic, which is on the top, takes up a good portion of the actual top of the camera, and I found that the dead cat does clip onto it adequately and doesn't get in my way. And then we have the hot shoe here, where you can actually use external mic. So sometimes I've fitted my Rode mic on it and it works perfectly fine. And then you have the mic jack here, where you just plug in your external mic there. Another thing that you'll notice about this camera is that it has a 24-70 Zeiss lens, which is an aperture of 1.8 to 2.8, which I find it really good, and I really like the aperture is really good for this lens. Also, this camera has a sensor, which is a 1-inch sensor, which is one of the bigger ones in the point and shoot category for a kind of point and shoot like this. It does shoot 4K and 1080p, so if you want to shoot in 4K, that's not a problem. However, you will notice that it does crop in when you're shooting in 4K. So basically, I've had the camera and I've taken it out on a few vlogs, and I will insert some clips and some of the stuff that I did notice about the camera. Obviously, this will be a very quick fire review or a first initial impression of the camera. However, I do planning on making a more in-depth review of the camera and all the functionalities that comes with it. So definitely look out for that video. I will be planning on making an accessories video for this camera for someone on a budget, and the best video and a walkthrough for the best video settings for this camera if you're thinking about using it for vlogging. So definitely make sure that you subscribe to my channel for all those videos that will be dropping soon. One thing that you will notice that this camera has stabilization. So it does have like optical stabilization and digital stabilization, and I found that when I kind of use this camera on 4K, it did crop in, and it crops in a 1.2, so just be careful of that. You will need a selfie stick with this camera to help you put it away from your body so you get a wider field of view. I did notice that for me the audio is fine with this camera. I like the audio. I think, like, to be honest, I bought this camera because I found that just this little setup is really cool to just take with you if you're going to brunch, if you're going out with your family and you just want to make some quick videos. This setup is amazing. Also, I've been using, because it's summer now, I've been using this camera out and about in natural light, and I do think that it performs very well in natural light, so you will get some really nice video. Also, one of the other things that I do notice with Sony cameras, I had a Sony Alpha 6400, and now this camera, is that their autofocus and their eye tracking or their face tracking is on point. You will notice that your face, no matter how you're moving about, is never out of focus once it locks onto your eye. And when you're using the camera, you will actually see like the tracking on your eye. It never moves, like it holds onto that for God, so you don't have to worry that, oh, sometimes your face will be out of focus or blurry. No, it definitely, their autofocus system definitely holds on to your face. So that's one thing I really like, I notice about my Alpha 6400, and they've also included the same kind of autofocus in this camera that they have in their higher end Alpha 6000 series and their A series. So you are getting some specs from the higher end Sony that are costing people a fortune. They put the same little specs in this body. The color science is also good. Again, they're taking the same color science from their higher end Alpha 6000 series and putting it into this little body. As I said, I've been using this camera out in very bright sunlight, and one thing you should note is that this camera does come with a 3-stop ND filter, so it's good, like if it's super bright and you want to take that down a bit, you can turn on the ND filter in this camera. And again, once you select the button, again the feature comes on, the ND filter will show on the screen, which I really love, because you can see if you have something on that you don't want to have on this camera, you can just take it off. And as I said before, I'm going to drop some videos or video clips of me vlogging around using only this camera, and I will say the actual footage and quality is really good. And I was just vlogging only with this camera, walking about, and I was really impressed with the quality of the footage I took here. And obviously I was shooting at 4K, and I did have the steady shot on active turned on. And again, you will notice that, and the steady shot is like they're basically named for the stabilization, and they have two range. They have the standard steady shot and then the active, which is the most powerful one basically. And I did have it on active when I was vlogging, and I found that it worked really well, and the quality is so amazing. So this was just my initial review. I do love this little camera. I think it's cute and really a great camera for anyone starting out. I just think that you can do so much with this camera, especially if you're trying to make quick content. It's compact, it's light, it has tons of features in it. So I found that I really liked using it. It's just amazing, this camera. It also has this skin smoothing features that again will be coming in my later review when I go more in depth in the specs of this camera and the different things that you can do or what to look out for. So I definitely love this little camera so far. It is cute. It is cute as hell, and I definitely think that I will be getting a lot of use out of this camera as obviously I'm shooting with my Fuji X-T4 now, and that is my main cam, but this as my B cam to get B-rolls and to go vlogging with and not worry about anything else, no additional kind of accessories. I think that's great. So this is the ZV-1 on a selfie stick, and this is just a selfie stick I have lying around, and we're just gonna switch to the ZV-1, and this is what you will see. Again, this is in 4K, and it has the steady active shot on, so this is what you will see, and this is the quality, which I think is quite good. And then I'm gonna turn it to 1080p so you can see how wide 1080p is. 1080p with standard steady shot on, and as you can see, it's definitely a lot wider than the active. The active does crop in a lot, so do consider that. And this is kind of the viewpoint that you would get. Again, I'm just using my bog standard selfie stick. Guys, I'm not gonna lie, this is giving me very Games of Thrones kind of vibe. And we're gonna go together, and it's a really nice. Thanks for watching this video, and if you're thinking about getting the ZV-1, definitely comment below and tell me, or if you have it, comment below and tell me what you've been doing with it, what content have you created with, what you like about this camera, and definitely subscribe for more camera review on my channel.